Happy Tour Tuesday, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It's good to see your faces. We have a very busy evening tonight. We have lots to talk about. So I'm thrilled that you're here. I have one tour director here with me today, a very special tour director, Karen Coate. She's going to wave and say hello to you. Yeah.
Hello, how are you?
One of the few tour directors that is actually not on tour right now. She was just on tour.
Will be soon.
She will be soon, but the large majority of our tour directors are on tour and busy. It is the busy fall season. Just in case you're wondering, things are going really well. Yeah, there's some bumps in the road, pun intended, as we travel, but you know, our tour guests have just learned to go with the flow, right, Karen? Like,
yes, that's right. That's right. I just got back from the mystery tour. It was fantastic.
Excellent. Yeah, we got some calls already about how great the tour director and the driver were. Yeah. So do you want to tell us where your mystery trip went?
Yes, we went up to Lake Erie. It was gorgeous, fun-filled day, and we ended up our next day at Lucy Town, seeing and hearing about Lucy and Desi Arnaz. Terrific. We had a sunset cruise on Frisk Isle that was to die for.
We ordered the weather for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So yeah, we are busy on tour, busy planning your 2022 vacations. We actually just sent a catalog to the printer on Monday, so you will be getting it in the mail, I think next Monday, and in a week or so, depending on the mail. So that catalog will have lots of 2022 tours that you can start to plan for. So that's what's been going on in our world. Today, I'm going to share my screen. Today, we are going to talk about our holiday themed vacations. And these vacations are multi-day vacations that are holiday themed in some way. They usually start anywhere from mid-November and go all the way through the end of the year. We like to see things decorated. We like to spread cheer. In some cases, these trips kick off the holiday season for us. So we have a total of 9 holiday trips for this year. The 4 that we're going to talk about today are all sold out, or mostly sold out. I'm sorry. But it doesn't mean that you can't get on the wait list. And it doesn't mean that you can't start to plan for next year. So we are going to start with a special tour, and I'm going to introduce a special guy. His name is Bob Klein. He is the owner of US Tours, and you can see him. Oh, let's see, I'll pin him there. You can see him right there in his blue shirt, and he's been a partner with Star for many years. I'm pleased to be able to introduce you to him, and I'll let Bob tell a little bit about what he does.
We're a wholesale tour company. We sell to people like Star Tours that retail trips. Our biggest claim to fame, I guess, would be the spectacular events we put together. We build products for 10 to 20 buses at a time. The Kentucky Derby, Star has been there with us. Blue Christmas is unique because we rent Graceland for the night. So we do things that you can't do with one bus. And then we take it to bus companies like Star to sell.
Excellent. Where's that accent from, Bob? Where are you sitting today?
My accent?
Yes. You don't think you have one, but we all do.
I'm an Appalachian.
Oh.
I'm a hillbilly from West Virginia.
All right. So this is an authentic Southerner, or hillbilly, I guess, to use your words. So and again, just to reiterate what Bob said, we can't plan these big parties, these big events that that require multiple buses. So Bob does this for us, and he invites us and other companies like us to attend. And his events are always put together spectacularly, which is why we keep coming back for more. So one of the events that Bob has put together is called the Elvis Blue Christmas. It features Memphis and Nashville. And we did this a few years ago, and it was really well received. So by popular demand, we have brought it back. It departs on December 5th. It does actually have a few seats available, 5 seats available as of today. The price per person is, as you see, $18.99 per person for a double occupancy. It includes 10 meals, and some of these meals are actually terrific because they're really party meals. And Jean Gray, our tour director, will be escorting it. So this is the tour that Bob is going to talk to you about. I will start it off on our first day. We'll pick everybody up and we'll head down to Wytheville, Virginia, where we'll spend one overnight at the Country Inn and Suites. This is our stopover whenever we go down south to Nashville and then eventually to Memphis. So our second day, we're going to wake up, and that's when we arrive in in Nashville. And our first stop is going to be the Ryman Auditorium. So I'll let Bob tell you about that stop.
The Ryman is a truly special place. This is the mother church of country music. It was originally built as a church by a riverboat captain who had been harassing a minister under a tent and cutting the ropes. And finally, he spoke with the minister. He got a calling of his own. He built this church. Later, the church started doing a radio show. And one evening, they switched from an opera broadcast to a country music broadcast. And the DJ said something to the effect, you just listened to 1 hour of Grand Old Opera, and now you're going to listen to an hour of the Grand Old Opry. And here's 80 some years later, that has stuck. So the Ryman is a tour you're just going to love.
That's great. I never knew that story. Very cool.
There's another unique story about the Ryman too. There's a back door outside of the dressing rooms. And there were 2 shows at the Opry, the 6:30 and the 9:30 back in the day. And between the 6:30 and the 9:30, when the star wasn't performing, they slipped out the back door to Tootsie's Orchid Lounge. And it is stated, and it is a fact, that the second show was much livelier than the first one.
No doubt. No doubt. Yes.
So after the Ryman, you're going to have time for lunch, check into your hotel, and then over to the Opryland Hotel for the evening. There are several restaurants inside the conservatory of the hotel. It's just a monstrous place. This conservatory's got its own river, and you can see the little Delta flatboats going through, and you'll have a chance to ride on that this evening.
Yeah, the river actually goes through the hotel. It's crazy, crazy. These are, and the Opryland is one of the most spectacular places to go, especially at the holidays. And you can see some photos of how they decorate. It's really special, once in a lifetime opportunity for everyone to see this property.
And you get a tour of the Belmead Plantation.
This is what we actually will do lunch in the carriage house, which is really cool. And they have a winery. So we'll get to tour the plantation and lunch. Oh, and there's a gift shop too, just in case you were wondering.
Okay, now this is my part. You're coming down to Memphis. This is birthplace of rock and roll. And a marvelous story about that. You think back to the 1930s. Sharecroppers were moving north off the farms and into the city. The jazzmen were coming north from New Orleans, and they're all arriving in Memphis at the same time. And there was a bluesman, a famous old bluesman named Muddy Waters, and he said that the jazz and the blues, they got married. and they had a boy and they named him Rock and Roll. And in 1935, Elvis Presley was born in Memphis, Tennessee. So I've just always loved that story. And this trip will focus on that newborn king. Every year, the first Tuesday and Wednesday in December, we celebrate Elvis Blue Christmas, his birthday. Might not be the right day, but it is for us. You'll be staying at the guest house at Graceland. It's a beautiful hotel. Elvis, when he had guests, he had his guests stay at a hotel down the street, and he always wished that he had a guest house. So this building really is about a quarter mile from the Graceland mansion. You can't walk to and from because of fences and gates, but it is very close. And they say that there's I can't read my notes. So there's a little bit of rock and roll, a little bit of Southern comfort built and packaged into every one of these rooms. There are 2 restaurants inside, EP's Bar and Grill, which is Elvis Presley's Bar and Grill, and Delta's Kitchen. But because of the 2 event meals we have for you, you won't get a chance to dine there. So once you've checked into your hotel that first evening, you're going to be dining in a local banquet hall. And this is our Elvis Blue Christmas Holiday Dinner Show. Our band is the David Fontana Band. He is the son of DJ Fontana, who joined Elvis Presley in 1955 as his drummer. And David continues playing Elvis music. We'll have an Elvis tribute artist there. We'll have a nice Southern meal, followed by a rock and roll show. And the next morning, you're going sightseeing. You're going to see the sights of Memphis in a really unique fashion. You have a Mojo tour guide on the bus. And as you tour the sights, he's going to sing you music. He's going to sing the songs of Memphis as you hop up and down the road. You're going to stop at Stunt Sun Studios, where Elvis got his first recording contract. And that little picture on the bottom there, you'll see these 4 young men sitting around talking to each other. The one that's sitting is Elvis Presley. And then I think that's Johnny Cash on the far end, and Carl Perkins in the middle, and Jerry Lee Lewis standing on the edge. And this is the $1 Million Quartet. It's an impromptu evening when all 4 of these men just happen to be in the studio at the same time. And they'll tell you all about that as you tour through Sun Studios. You'll also visit the Memphis Rock and Soul Museum. And they tell the story of soul music and rock music, and those sharecroppers coming off the plantations, and how rock and roll built up to its climax in the 1970s. You'll have a little time on Beale Street also for lunch, maybe a chance to step into a souvenir store or 2 and explore it, and then back to the hotel with a chance to freshen up. And this evening, you'll cross Elvis Presley Boulevard. Opposite the hotel and opposite Graceland, on the other side of the boulevard, is the Elvis Presley's Memphis facility. And this is, it's just filled with little museums and shops. You're going to have dinner in Presley Motors, surrounded by Elvis Presley automobiles. Different groups at different times will be taken over to the mansion, and you'll go through the Graceland mansion with the audio headsets on, and you'll see the decorations that Elvis and Priscilla had when they lived there. It's exactly like it was in the day. You'll be able to walk through the garden out back where his grave is, and you'll see his gravesite. And then back over to Elvis Presley's Memphis. You'll be able to see the various exhibits in the building. Elvis the entertainer, Elvis and the president. He had some dialogue with Richard Nixon that was unique. There's a Hollywood backlot exhibit. There's an exhibit on Lisa Marie and her childhood. So there are a lot of things in Elvis Presley's Memphis. And you'll spend the evening there, dinner, touring the mansion, visiting the exhibits. And next slide. Then the next morning, leaving Memphis, you're heading back towards Nashville. You'll stop at the Country Music Hall of Fame. There is a Cadillac in the Hall of Fame that belonged to Elvis. It's that solid gold Cadillac. That you spend the afternoon in the Hall of Fame, and then the evening is the Nashville Nightlife Theater and a wonderful dinner and musical show there with country music artists. Next. Then through Sevierville, lunch at Applewood Farms, great restaurant, and on up to Wytheville for the night, check into Country Inn and Suites for dinner and breakfast, and then home the next day.
Excellent. I'm gonna, before I open it up for questions, I'm going to play a really cool video for you all. See if I can actually do that.
This is what you'll see.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want to show them,
Yeah.
except I need to, let me see here. Let me bring this out here. Hold on one second. That's better. Now we'll try to share. Hold on, there we go. The lights, there we go. I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's long, but I'm going to give you a snippet, and maybe at the end we'll play more.
When the lights go on at Graceland and the cool Memphis night comes aglow, you could swear that you hear the king singing to the sweet Prince of Peace he loves so. He dreamed of a white Christmas, but sometimes they'd be blue, blue, blue. And so he implored, take my hand, precious Lord. It's no secret what God can do. When the lights go on in Graceland and the cool Memphis night comes through, you could swear that you hear the king singing to the sweet Prince of Peace he loves so. He swore he'd be home for Christmas, for it's here that the world went away. And each silent night he'd pray that he might have peace in the valley someday. So come, won't you come, all ye faithful, as they came all those nights long ago, here to sing.
I wanted to leave some for the future. But
You'll
that
walk
is,
through that house just like you saw in the picture.
it looks just like that for real.
For real. You'll see the
Wow.
1955 television set that he had over there in the corner behind the tree.
Wow, I saw that. I saw the old TV in there. I definitely did. Well, thank you very much, Bob. This has been great.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Does anybody, this is a perfect time to ask Bob questions. If anybody has any questions, you can just either raise your hand or just say, I have a question. This is your time. The expert is with us. All right. No questions. I don't see anything in the chat either. So like I said, there's only 5 seats left for this trip. Jean is escorting it and Bob is delivering a fabulous experience. So thank you very much, Bob. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. So it's now time to talk about Ogilby. Yes, it is pronounced Ogilby, even though it's spelled Oglebay. Ogilby Resort Festival of Lights, and this is in Wheeling, West Virginia. Maybe it's even near where Bob was. It departs on November 28th. This is the weekend after Thanksgiving, or the weekend just following Thanksgiving. It's 3 days and 2 nights, $589 per person based on 2 people in a room. 4 meals, and your tour director is Christine Derling. And Karen Coate is going to take us through this trip because she did it most recently last year.
Yes, it was a wonderful tour. I encourage everybody to go. And I'm sorry, Bob, but the lights and decorations here are outstanding and mimic what you have down there in Memphis and Nashville. So we will be traveling to Wheeling, West Virginia for 2 overnights at the Wilson Lodge at Ogilby Resort. The picturesque Ogilby Resort has over 1,700 acres of recreational activities and overnight accommodations. And the Winter Festival of Lights has grown into one of the nation's largest holiday light shows. The Wilson Lodge actually sits at the top of a hilltop of Ogilby and features indoor pool, jacuzzi, sauna, and a fitness center. There are lots of dining options, but the meals that are included are phenomenal. The lodge and the resort are beautifully decorated both inside and out for the holiday season, with lots of holiday trees, twinkling lights, and breathtaking displays. There are also a variety of selfie festive stations for you to take that picture. After we check into our room, we feature our Festival of Lights buffet that first night, and it is a buffet, outstanding meal, delicious food, freshly prepared desserts. As you can see from the pictures here, there are lots of activities and places to relax, both inside and outside the resort. Andrew, my driver last year, and I sat outside the twinkling lights on the porch in our rocking chair, watching the deer scamper around and the light show below us. You could even sit in a holiday decorated Santa chair. And of course, Santa does make an appearance. Each night, there's a complimentary nightly candy cane cordial for you to enjoy. And be sure to snap lots of those pictures. You'll be amazed at the decorations you see. Day 2 starts with a outstanding, again, breakfast buffet. And then we have a self-guided tour of the Glass Museum that features over 3,000 examples of Wheeling glass that date back to 1829. You will also have some free time at Ogilby's Hilltop Shops, which feature the Carriage House Christmas Shop and the Farmhouse Sweets and Treats. Day 2 continues with a behind-the-scenes tour of the Festival of Lights. You'll see how all the lights were put together, how they got started, and how they take place. And from there, we head to the Winter Fantasy at the Good Zoo, where you'll see a dazzling light show on the patio and visit indoor zoo animals. After our dinner buffet, we will have a guided riding tour of the Festival of Lights. It features over 300 acres of twinkling lights across a 6-mile drive and over 90 dazzling lighted attractions. Breakfast included the next morning. We have a self-guided tour of Ogilby Mansion Museum. This is actually the estate of Cleveland industrialist Earl Ogilby, and it served as his summer home. From there, we have to say goodbye and head home. But I can tell you last year, we woke up in the morning to just a dusting of snow blanketing the resort that made it picture perfect.
I arranged that too, Karen. I don't know if I told you that.
Yes, you said it, I know.
That sounds fabulous. I love that, you and Bob are going to fight it out as to where all the best lights are.
I will win.
Excellent. It sounds like a great trip. Does anybody have any questions for Karen?
Quiet group.
Is that a question I heard? Anybody? You guys are listening so well. No questions.
Are there any openings on that trip?
Oh, well, that is a good question, Karen. Funny you should ask. Actually, there are 4 seats available as of today.
Oh, wow.
We have 40 people booked on it. There's 4 seats available. As I said, Christine Derling is the tour director this year. So yeah, we can get a few more people on. And then of course there's the wait list, and wait lists have been actually doing pretty well this year, right, Deborah? Don't be shy, get on the wait list, because people have been changing their plans a lot. So we spend a lot of time during the day calling people on the wait list to let them know that there's a seat available for them. So don't be shy about getting on the wait list. All right. Well, thank you for taking us through the Ogilby trip. And I'm going to give you a break, Karen. We'll come back to you. And I am going to introduce, hold on. I'm going to introduce Victoria Matthews. Victoria is the tourism sales manager of Fredericksburg, Virginia. Let's see, where are you? Victoria, where did you go? Oh, there she is. She's right here. I'm going to pin her to the top. There we go. We're pleased to have Victoria with us today. And she is going to tell us a little bit about what she does for companies like Star.
Certainly. Well, good evening, everybody. It's so great to see so many faces on the screen here. Thank you so much, Star Tours, for allowing me to be here this evening. I really appreciate it. My job is with the city of Fredericksburg and the Department of Tourism, and my job is to bring in groups like Star Tours, meetings, conventions, reunions, just about any group size over 6 people, and they'll usually end up in my lap. So we love to welcome all kinds of groups to Fredericksburg and love working with Star Tours. They are a long-time, very well-beloved client of ours. So thank you for that. It's appreciated.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your help. And thank you for being here tonight. I'm going to let you do the talking, and I'm going to give myself a break, but we're going to, I'll introduce the tour. We're talking about Fredericksburg, Virginia, the holiday tour. The price per person is $589 per person based on a double occupancy. It's 3 days, 2 nights. It departs December 10th through 12th, and Karen Coate will be the tour director. So if you, and apparently Karen has good luck with weather on her tours. So, I'm sure she would love to have you. There are 4 meals included on this trip as well. So I'm going to let Victoria tell you about Fredericksburg and what to expect on this tour.
Certainly. So the very first thing when you get to Fredericksburg is you're going to get something to eat, because that's the critical part of the day. So you'll be dropped in downtown Fredericksburg. We have over 50 restaurants for folks to choose from. If you're really hungry, you could do Alpine Chef. If you would like a little Japanese food, we have Osan. We run the gamut of just about any type of food that you might want to eat, including pizza the size of a small child. So you're going to be well fed in Fredericksburg. Next, you're going to head off to do a guiding tour of the Rising Sun Tavern. Now, the Rising Sun Tavern was actually built by Charles Washington, George Washington's brother. We are the boyhood home of George Washington. He later sold his home and moved to West Virginia and founded Charlestown, West Virginia. So his house then became a tavern. And you do call the woman who answers the door the tavern wench. That is the appropriate 18th century term. So you'll be shown into the tavern, and you'll be shown what you would have been received when you showed up in the 18th century, and how you would have lived and spent the night, and maybe seen a couple rat traps, but we don't talk about that very much. So, but it'll be a very interesting aspect of a snapshot and glimpse into history and what a tavern hotel would have looked like. I promise that your Holiday Inn Express South Point experience will be slightly more modern and a little bit different, and no rats. So
Thanks for pointing that out.
Looks like, so next up, you're going to have dinner at Ristorante Renato. They have been in Fredericksburg for 40 years, and you do not stay as a restaurant in anywhere for 40 years if your food is awful. So you're going to have a real great meal at Ristorante Renato Italian fare. And then next up, breakfast at the hotel. And then you're going to head and jump on our trolley tour. And our trolley tour is a tour that goes through the historic district of Fredericksburg. It is a 75-minute narrated tour. And you're going to get to really have an understanding of why Fredericksburg is here, how long it's been here. Fredericksburg has been here since Captain John Smith explored it in 1608. That's the earliest note that we have of, aside from the indigenous population, of when folks were started in Fredericksburg. So you'll learn about that. They'll talk about George Washington history, and they'll drive you through the city. So you'll be able to see where all the different sites are. And it's really remarkable how compact the town is and how much there is here to see and do. So that's going to be a really good background for you on the trolley tour. And they're really good, fantastic guides on that for you. So, and they'll also talk a lot about the Civil War, as Fredericksburg changed hands 4 times during the Civil War. So you'll learn a lot on that tour.
Look at all these fabulous pictures.
Yep, you see our main street down there with the Christmas ribbons tied to our lamps, and battlefields are on there. So, and we do decorate for Christmas quite well. Brick lined sidewalks and things like that. So I think you'll get a real Christmassy feel when you come. On your still on the second day, this is going to be the highlight of your tour. This is the annual Candlelight tour of historic homes, and the reason is because that these are private homes, so these are not open to the public. But I don't know about you, but I always like to see how the other half lives, since I am a public servant. So it's very interesting to get into these houses and see them all decorated for Christmas. And so that'll be a tremendous opportunity for you to see kind of life in Fredericksburg. Again, you have lunch on your own. So if there was a restaurant that you didn't get to the day before that you want to do on day 2, you've got it covered. And next up, you are going to be in for a treat at the Riverside Center for the Performing Arts. They are doing Meet Me in St. Louis. And these guys are doing spectacular shows. In 2019, they were nominated as a Theater of the Year for Broadway World for the Central Virginia Awards. So they're winning awards for their theater. You will have a meal. Your meal will be included at the Riverside Center for the Performing Arts. And so that'll all be taken care of. So food, dinner, show, and then on the way back to your hotel. So that should be a very enjoyable evening. Next up, You'll get up and you'll get a guided tour of Kenmore Mansion. Kenmore is George Washington's sister's house. Her husband was Fielding Lewis, and he was instrumental in the Revolutionary War, and you will hear all about him. The thing about history that continues to surprise me, it shouldn't, but it does, is that these sites are always looking at what they have in their own buildings. And within the last 3 years, Kenmore was doing some investigative work in their dining room and found a swatch of carpet from the 1700s. They looked at that piece of carpet, they figured out what the colors were, and they sent for to a company in England to have the carpet remade within 20 years of the original date. That company in England had carpet patterns within 20 years of when that original carpet would have been put into Kenmore. So you're going to see some pretty amazing architectural details in Kenmore Mansion, and just some really interesting Washington history and how Fielding Lewis helped with the Revolutionary War. So I won't spoil it more than that for you on that one, but that's a special place there, Kenmore Mansion. And then it looks like you are headed up to Baltimore, and I will turn that back over since that is a little outside of my purview.
Sandy, I can take over from there. I've been there many
Oh,
times. Yes.
absolutely.
Baltimore is transformed into a Christmas village there in the Inner Harbor. The village is actually modeled after the German Christmas markets, and there are more than 50 booths located inside and outside that have vendors selling traditional European gifts, foods, and drinks. And it is really nice, and they'll have some free time to stroll the harbor. But that has been a highlight of a couple of our tours, and it's a really nice stop. Pick up a special gift if you would like.
Excellent. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. That sounds like a great trip. So again, Fredericksburg is December 10th through 12th. Karen is escorting it. And we have 49 people booked on this trip. So it is officially sold out with a small wait list of only a few people. So get on the wait list now if you're interested. We don't take any money when you get on the wait list. Just tell us that you want to be called and we'll call you, and you could decide if you want to go at that point. But this is a really popular tour. We will be doing it again next year. So if you can't do it this year, we're coming back. And as we've done it, this trip sells out every year. It's just a real winner. So does anybody have any questions for Victoria while she's here? You guys are amazing. Let's see. I do see a couple things in the chat. Somebody had asked me through a private message, what is the maximum number booked on overnight trips? And that number is 50. We leave 4 seats, well, really 3 seats open in the front row of the bus. But if you are a solo traveler, we are not usually sitting anybody next to you this year. So again, solo travelers will likely not have anybody sitting next to them. All right.
Hey, Sandy.
Yes.
If I can just, I know you mentioned before the wait list. Today I worked on a wait list for the fall foliage Motown trip. I went from 44 people on the wait list down to 16, the number 16th on the wait list before somebody took the seat. So I really encourage people to go on a wait list. They've been really doing well this year.
Excellent. Yep. Lots of people changing their plans. So like I said, it doesn't cost anything to go on the wait list. I definitely, and the kind of nice thing is you don't actually have to make up your mind if you want to go.
Yeah.
We don't take your money when you're on the wait list. We just take your money when we call you and let you know that there is a seat, and then you could decide at that point. So so that's the scoop with that. All right, we are doing great. We are right on time. I am going to introduce our last presenter as we talk about Vermont Country Christmas. Let me just share my screen again. We're going to talk about Vermont Country Christmas, and I'm going to introduce Deb Fox. let's see, Deb is with us today all the way from Vermont. She is actually the face that you will see if you go on this trip. So I'd like to introduce you. She is one of our specialized Vermont tour guides. We call them step-on guides. That means that they step onto the bus and they guide you. There will still be a star tour director on this trip, and that tour director is Penny Rudolph. But Deb is going to be the guide that we meet in Vermont. So let's see. Deb, where are you? Let's see if I can find you. Oh, there you are. Go ahead. You can unmute yourself. And then I'll there we go. Excellent. Tell everybody about yourself.
Well, thank you for having me tonight. I had to get my scarf out, we're thinking about Christmas already, and some of the nights here in Vermont have gotten a little chilly already, but looking forward to fall and definitely into December. So I'm from Vermont and bring a lot to the tours in a lot of different ways. One of the things I love about this tour is that going up through Woodstock is where I grew up, and through the Waterbury area and through Stowe. The Vermont, the Von Trapp Lodge is just a phenomenal place to stay. And it reminds me, I have German background, so I just totally love the fact that there's such a European feeling when you go to this resort, and glad that we could spend 2 nights there. It's just a phenomenal, you'll feel like you're in the Alps. It's just an amazing spot.
Excellent.
So the first day coming into Manchester.
Let me give a quick overview,
sure.
Deb. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I teased you into going out of order. I apologize. So this tour is called Vermont Country Christmas. It departs on December 14th, right in the heart of the holiday season. It's 4 days and 3 nights. The price per person is $11.59 based on 2 people in a room, and 6 meals are included. Your tour director is Penny Rudolph. So just to let you know, there are 43 people already on this trip. It does show us sold out. Again, it's based on the number of solo travelers that are on board, but we do have a wait list. And as we just said, don't be shy, get on the wait list. And we do this trip every year. So if you don't get on this year, you'll for sure get on next year. If we always call the waitlisted passengers first to invite them for the following year. So on our first day, we travel up to Manchester. Do we see you on the first day, Deb?
I don't know that yet. Either the first day I meet you in Manchester, or I will have meet you that day too to start out the tour.
Gotcha. So we'll drive all the way up to Manchester. We'll have lunch on our own as we travel, and then we'll be staying at the Hampton Inn in Manchester. We'll also have dinner included at a local restaurant. It's nice where you have dinner included on the first night, and you'll be able to meet your fellow travelers. Now, this is where Deb is going to take it away.
Okay, thanks. So Manchester is a great little downtown, and what we find when we travel throughout Vermont is we have very unique downtowns. They're very specific to Manchester, in particular being the home of the Lincoln family. And going to that property, again, when you're there, and now that I'm thinking about it and going to Trapp family, we feel in Vermont that when you go to these different properties, you're going to feel like you're out of the country. Manchester being, having the Lincoln history, Hildene is the family home. And Hildene meaning hill, and Dean, valley and stream. So when you get to the Hildene property, it is just this magnificent valley that you see Mount Equinox on one side, beautiful gardens, as you can see in the picture here on the presentation. Just a wonderful property. And you really wonder, going back to the time frame of the Lincoln homestead, you go through the house and the grounds, and it's just magnificent. You wonder what history and the value of this was back in the days of them living and vacationing here in Vermont. So really just a wonderful, wonderful property. From there, we traveled to Woodstock. And Woodstock is kind of my hometown. I grew up just north of there in a little town called Barnard, but went to school in Woodstock, which has a lot of Rockefeller history, which we'll talk about along the trip. And kind of my influence with Vermont and what kind of shaped me in the just loving the countryside. And we'll talk more about that on the trip. I don't want to give all the goodies away. But we'll be in Woodstock and we'll have lunch on our own. Now, some of the Woodstock restaurants have changed quite a bit during the pandemic. We'll have up-to-date menus and areas to go to eat in downtown. Woodstock is very walkable. We'll probably take a group picture over by the wonderful covered bridge that's right in town along the green. And from Woodstock, we're going to travel to Waterbury. Waterbury is the home of Vermont coffee and Green Mountain Coffee, which has now been bought out, but it is a great little downtown, which is also serviced by our rail that comes through Vermont. So we won't get down into Waterbury and see the train station, but we're going to head a little bit out of there and go into the Stowe area. And Stowe is just another wonderful downtown. It's very unique, and we'll have there in Stowe, we'll obviously go to the Trapp Family Lodge. But on our way to that area, we're going to visit the Cabot Farmer Store. So the Cabot cheese location actually has a few different goodies there. You can visit Champlain Chocolates, and there's also a distillery in that same complex. So we'll have time there to visit and walk around that area. The day two, when we get to the Trapp Family Lodge, we're going to have a dinner in the main dining room, and you'll have time to go and see this beautiful setup that they have of poinsettias, and just if you want to get into the Christmas spirit, this is the absolute place to go without having to travel all the way to Europe. So it's a great little stop. On day three, we're going to have a buffet breakfast at the hotel. And one of the greatest things about this tour that people who stop by or on motor coaches or whatever, you cannot get the guided tour of the Trapp Family Lodge and the movie, The Real Maria. And I think that when I saw The Real Maria the first time, I've seen The Sound of Music and I've heard about the story, and my mom's from Germany, so I know all of that. It wasn't until I saw the movie, The Real Maria, that I really, really understood what the family went through, how they ended up to this beautiful spot in Vermont. It is a true gem to be able to even talk to, if they're available, the family who's still at the resort. Just a wonderful, wonderful stay. And during day three, we go down to have a sleigh ride through the beautiful countryside of Stowe, which is the last few years have just been wonderful, riding through woodland along a stream and just feeling like you're out in the middle of nowhere. And how better to go but cuddled up with blankets and on these sleigh rides through the countryside. From there, we'll go to Stowe and we'll have lunch on our own. And then we will go to Cold Hollow Cider Mill. And Cold Hollow is just a magnificent family story. And most of the places that we do stop in Vermont are family stories. They come from either generations and generations of background, or they come from families who have moved to Vermont and have developed a great business here. And one of them is the Cold Hollow Cider Mill. So a lot of fun to go there. We get to taste fresh cider, and we'll see how it's cold pressed and how it was done in the 1920s and how that's not very much different than how we do it today. So after Cold Hollow Cider, we'll get some donuts there as well. We'll return to the hotel, and then dinner will be back in the Trapp Family Lodge main dining room that evening. And I would encourage people to just wander around that property inside and out, because you will find some really unique spaces, and again, a very fun and winter Christmas spirit. On day 4, we are going to, we're going to have breakfast at the hotel. And we are, after that, going to make our way back home. So I hope that gives you kind of a general overview. I've got a lot of great things, again, about Vermont that I'd love to talk about. And this property in particular is very, very close to my heart, because my dad helped save over 700,000 acres in Vermont against development, and tried to promote this kind of home and unique experience in the countryside. So I hope you'll join us.
Thank you so much, Deborah. I really appreciate it.
Bring your scarf. Just
Bring your scarf. Definitely mid-December. And if you want a good sleigh ride, it's got to be a little chilly. That was great. Thank you so much. Does anybody have any questions for Deb? All right. Well, you know, there are 2 ways to book your trip. You can give us a call. You can speak to Deb or any of the folks in our office, or you can book online, and you can do that anytime. For these trips, again, they're mostly sold out with a few seats, so it might not let you book online if there's just a few seats left. And to get on the wait list, you do have to call. So don't delay, call, don't be the last one on the wait list, be the first one on the wait list. And we hope you end up joining us. So does anybody have any questions about any of these 4 trips, or anything right now related to holiday tours or about traveling with Star that we can answer? I know you're the experts. That's why you attend. Marianne, go ahead and unmute yourself. It looks like you have a question. Hold on, you're muted. So I see your lips moving, but I can't. There we go.
Oh, okay. The pickup at Mount Laurel, has that changed?
It has.
That has
Yes.
changed.
That the Hotel
yeah.
ML recently was sold. And once it was sold, we were not allowed to use it as a pickup point. So I worked for hours and hours and hours and hours, and actually Deb did too. And the pickup that we are replacing it with is the Cherry Hill train station off of Route 70,
Okay.
right next to the ShopRite
Okay.
there. So it's the parking lot.
Okay.
Where it's not the actual train station, it's the train station parking lot.
Okay. All right.
No more
Thank
Hotel
you.
ML for now.
Okay.
I believe it was, auctioned off. I'm not sure what has happened since then, but
Okay. Thank you. Thanks.
thank you. Good question.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions?
Sandy, if I can make a comment,
Yes.
and this will go with what Marianne just asked. A lot of customers lately have been asking about directions for pickup locations if they're new or if a location's changed. Our website has a plethora of information on there about departure points. One of the biggest things that customers find really helpful is if you go on our website, startours.com, click on tours, go to departures, and then go to the location that you would like to go out of. Not only does it give you directions from your home, it gives you a photo of where to park, and that has been extremely helpful. So Marianne, you may find that helpful to look at that too.
You know, Deb, you gave me a good idea. Let's show them. This
There we
is what it looks like. This is what our departure location looks like. And what Deb's talking about, for example, let's go to Marianne's question.
Go up,
Go up, thank you.
Cherry Hill.
here is the Cherry Hill train station parking lot information. You can click here and you'll get directions from Google Maps. If you click here, it shows you a photo. I'm not sure if you can see that. Okay, good. So you can see how, where to meet the bus, where to park. So that's super helpful. It also, we can show you the notes and instructions related to this parking area. I'm not sure if you can see this, but it does, tell you parking and pickup location, exactly where it is, approximately 100 yards in the front left corner facing ShopRite, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a page that you want to familiarize yourself with. It has all the locations that we pick up in. So great topic to discuss, Deb. Of course, it is time for our $25 gift card winner. So hold please while I do my special counting of signups and numbers. Hold on. And our winner is Joyce Browning. Joyce!
Woo!
Oh my gosh, how many times has Joyce attended? She has finally won.
Yay.
Joyce, you're muted, but if you want to say, there you go.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful.
Congratulations, Joyce. Where are you going next?
Amelia Islands.
Oh, very
Woo!
good. Very good. Joyce she is a star traveler. That is an
Yes.
understatement.
Yes,
So-
and we'll be doing more and more next year.
Good to
Yes,
know.
yes. And if anybody hasn't done the Diker Heights Lights trip for Christmas, do it. It is amazing. Oh my, God, I'm looking.
I didn't
forward
even
to it.
pay her to say that. She's talking about the Brooklyn Christmas lights trip, where we have 4 dates for you to join us. So certainly we would love for you to join us on that. Oh, I had a quick question. Is there overnight parking at the Cherry Hill train station? Yes, there is overnight parking at the Cherry Hill train station. Sorry, I just wanted to go back to that. Well, it is 7:01. We are right on time. I want to thank all of our presenters. I'd like to thank Bob and Victoria and Deb for joining us, and especially our tour director, Karen Coate, for joining us. And I would like to thank all of you for taking time out of your busy lives on a Tuesday night at 6 p.m. to join us. Our next Tour Tuesday is October 5th, and we will be talking about 5 more holiday multi-day vacations. Places like Greenbrier and Hershey and, I can't even remember all of them.
Norman Rockwell.
Oh, Norman Rockwell, exactly. Let's see, I even have a cheat sheet. Oh, our Savannah New Year's Eve trip and Christmas on the Potomac.
Yes.
So that's what we'll be talking about. Norman Rockwell, Greenbrier, Savannah New Year's Eve, Christmas on the Potomac, and Hershey. And we would love for you to join us for all or part of that Tour Tuesday. So thank you very much again for coming, and we'll see you next time, October 5th. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Congratulations, Joyce.
Thank you so much. I'll get back in touch with you about that.
You got it. We'll be in touch with you for
Oh,
sure.
okay.
Thank
Excellent.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.